Hi everybody to my first live stream. Yeah, hello everybody. My first proper live stream where you can actually see me, and I'm not always a headless guitar player. This is a t-shirt from Marx' the last recent tour, 2019 tour. I bought it in Lisbon. So for the last 2 weeks I've been building this setup here. I got lights here, the cameras and the microphone, guitar amplifier, and I bought this little Martin guitar. And it's one of the last little Martins in Russia. So, and I bought it for more than $1,000, which tells you everything about the current situation, because this guitar is like $350 and maybe $450 plus shipping from United States. So we're really in dire straits here. And we are in dire straits, and I mean dire straits with the lowercase d and s. And so, but I thought that to use this situation as an opportunity for me to grow up and to build this live setup, and maybe even I want to lean more towards real and proper education, proper teaching, and maybe even doing some one-on-one lessons. Why not? So, but I'm working on it. Speaking of working on it, this tune gets requested a lot, and I get that because it's so fun to play. And this tune is from this movie, The Wag the Dog. This movie right here, and it really reminds me of Marble Town. Marble Town is this song. With a couple on the 5th fret, but it's in open D tuning, in a drop D tuning. So the 6th string goes down to the D, but couple on the 7th fret. So it's like Here Comes the Sun, or one song by Eagles. Yes, hello everybody from Brazil, yeah, Italy. Nice. So it really reminds me of Marble Town, and the basic rhythm is basically the same. It's bass and downstroke. Only play it fast. Finland, yeah. And the chords are also simple. It's 3 chords in the verse. It's D5, open, 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 2, 3, C, and G with B in the bass. Hello everybody. And the main hook in this little song is this melody that goes. So it's like D5 going to D7, but without the first string. And this sound actually, it sounds like an open tuning, isn't it? Maybe Mark wrote it in an open tuning, who knows. but it goes like from D5 to this melody. And the trick in the melody is that the melody itself is simple. But the melody gets combined with this rhythm, so it goes more like this. Ukraine is here. I never thought of that. Rome. I thought there'll be less people, to be honest with you. So the melody is like. So it's really one thing, a rhythm and the melody, and add bass to it and you get. The chorus part, I play it without the sixth string. So, and the first part I played without the first string. And both parts I played without the first string, but more on that later. So the second part, the chorus part, I play it like this. It's D5 again, without the sixth string. So mute, open, open, 2, 3. Then this, it's like mute, 3, 2, 2, 3. It's A minor with C in the bass. Again, G with B in the bass. Now B flat major. It's tricky to play, but it's possible. I play it with one finger here and bass. Hello. And C major. So it's. It has this interesting common note on top. And it's actually also played in the background in the song. That's pretty much the whole thing, and the only difference when it goes to this part where it goes. I never thought that there will be so many comments. I'll try to read them. Yes, this is all it is really to this version, which is the most interesting version of this little tune, I think. I wrote a tab for it, so I'll put a link in the description as always, so it's all written down really. Germany, Croatia. I'm right-handed, but I do a lot of things with my left hand, and for instance, I use my telephone exclusively by my left hand. I don't know why, and some stuff like this, so I'm maybe like two-handed. I write with my right hand. Kazakhstan, Barcelona. It's funny, I visited a lot of these cities, in Barcelona, Roma. I was in Finland a lot of times. Never visited Finland though, and Sweden. So they're speaking here. The downstroke is mostly middle finger. I'm sort of anchoring my hand to do a stronger attack, so to speak. In this particular song, I'll make a video about downstrokes, because I always talk about downstrokes, but I never actually show it. But it's mostly downstroke with a middle finger. And again, the melody is very simple. You can't really think of a more simple melody. But what it lacks, this version lacks, is obviously the bass, because you play this, and especially the second part. I mean, it sounds great, but you sort of want to play something else, but so it's possible to play it in standard tuning as well, and I'll do just that. And in the standard tuning, it's a bit easier to play, obviously, because you don't need to put a capo. And it's in A minor. Oh. That's the difficulty of going live. But anyway, it's in A minor, and this shape here is the it's a go-to shape. It's like the shape I discussed in my recent Speedway at Nazareth video. So it's open 2, 2, and 5. So it's A without the third. So this version has a lot of bass, but you can't really play a melody, this melody. so it's almost impossible to play it so it sounds really good, but it's good for playing rhythm, especially the second part, which goes like A to this E minor in this D minor shape with G in the bass. So D with an F sharp in the bass, F and G. So and here is your bass, but it's not it doesn't sound like as good as the 7th fret version, because you heard it. It sounds really nice up in 7th fret. But this is more something like for solo guitar version, I think. And speaking of solos, I think I tried to transcribe the solo, but I thought it really doesn't make any sense, because it's so uniquely played and the sound is so great that it's just, I mean, this song is great to play with somebody, so it's not really so much fun to play it alone, if you know what I mean. You can play this riff, or you can play it up here in the 7th fret, but it's all there is to it. So you can solo over it, you can sing over it. So I think it's better to play with somebody, and the actual recording is just so beautifully recorded that you can. But anyway, I'm not really a man to discuss solos, because I'm not a really good improviser, but it's A minor pentatonic all over the place. Spain, Austria. So this is really it. It's pretty much always what I needed to say about working on it. So to recap, they have the 7th fret version with the melody that everybody recognizes and wants to learn, really. We have this version in standard tuning and no capo, which is sort of fun to play, but again, you can't really play the melody here. You can't play bass here in the 7th fret, and obviously if you have only a solo, you can't play the rhythm, so it's difficult to talk about tunes like that. So I really thought a long time about how I'm gonna approach it, because I get asked all the time, oh, do this tune from Wag the Dog, and I think, but how I'm gonna to do it? So, because it doesn't make sense to talk about the rhythm or the solo alone. So this tune is more than just some of its parts, so to speak, if you know what I mean. Yes, it's similar to Speedway, and it's really similar to Marbletown. So if you learned how to play Marbletown, this tune is gonna be easy for you, really easy. Yeah, Lights of Taormina, I'm working on it again. I work on a lot of stuff, as you can see, and I always work on a lot of stuff. Lights of Taormina is a really interesting experience because it's not that hard to play. I don't remember exact capo position. I think it's what's third capo, third. But again, in this song, the slide guitar really shines. So I work on the slide guitar part for this song, and it takes a lot of work, really. So, but I work on it. I don't know about the action. I just bought this guitar. It's basically new, and it's really cool. Actually, I really love it. And my idea was for this setup is that I don't need to change anything. I can bring my Squier Mini, and it has exactly the same scale length. So it means that I just change guitar, and it looks exactly like this. Only it's this electric guitar here. And I don't need to bring a big acoustic guitar that will take a half of the room. Hello, Texas. Actually, my Gibson Advanced Jumbo is from Texas. I bought it in 2011, so it was... No, I didn't bought it. Actually, this guitar was a gift to me. So this guitar I bought myself, but my Gibson was gifted to me by a friend of mine at the time. It is probably the biggest gift I ever was given, but you can see that I can do with it a lot. About singing, I really don't know, because it's funny, but I really don't have any songs on I can't play any songs on demand, because I learn a lot of songs, but as I'm not a musician, I'm not a gigging musician, so I don't have a repertoire, or how you can call it. So I can approximate some songs like 5:15 a.m. Snow laying all around. Connor cycles home from his night shift underground. Past and silent dark, primary school, working man's club, on the road from the bedhead, church of bed, money in there. It's one of the best songs, really, I know. 5:15 a.m. is a masterpiece, period. But I don't have, because I don't have a band or something like that, and I'm really not a musician in the sense that I come from work and I just play some songs. It's really what it is. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a musician, I'm not a recording artist. I'm really not a musician in the sense that I'm not a musician. The thing is, I can't really pull out some songs, complete songs. I need to sit down, really learn it. And it takes a lot of time, and learning songs takes a lot of time. But the whole idea of my channel is that if I'm the guy who is just has a daytime job and come from job and sit on a sofa and just strum great songs. It's all there is to it. I'm not a virtuoso or something. I'm just a guy who plays and loves songs. It's been a while. I really don't know about this song, to be honest. It's been a while. Yeah, it's an unreleased song from Selling to Philadelphia. I get it. And that, I think Mark will record it someday, so I'll cover it when he recorded properly. I work on Holloway. I work on so many songs, you can believe it. And this guitar is a really, really great guitar. I just watched a review on one Mexican-made Martin guitar on Driftwood Guitars YouTube channel, and the guy, he basically cuts the guitar in half and look at that inside this guitar, and inside this cheap Martin, $500 Martin, there is a backplate on a bridge, and there is a logo, Martin logo, printed, not printed and scripted in wood, inscribed in wood in mirror. So if you take a mirror inside a guitar, and it reflects like a Martin logo, the proper Martin logo. So it's a sign of that Martin is capable of, and it's beautiful inside, it's beautiful outside, and it sounds great, and it's cheap, and it's really everything you can ask for in a guitar. I love cheap guitars. Привет из Португалии. Я был в Португалии 2 раза. I love Portugal. Planet of New Orleans, of course, is an insane song, and I also need to. There are some songs, big songs, that requires a lot of thinking how you're going to talk about it. So obviously, I can play all the stuff that you what you want, and Planet of New Orleans and Sultans of Swing or what have you, but it's such a big, and Telegraph Road, but it's such a big song that I really don't know how I'm going to talk about it. Recently, on my birthday, I did Tunnel of Love, and that was one instance when it clicked for me. And it clicked for me, and I thought, I can play it in open G tuning, and it's like Romeo and Juliet, and you can learn Romeo and Juliet and Tunnel of Love. So it sounds great, and it's sort of easy to play. I know it's really not easy to play, but it's approachable, and things like that. And Planet of New Orleans is just like that. I know that there are some parts that repeats, but anyway, I will do this song as well. Eventually I will do every Marx song. This is my goal. And funny that when I started my channel, then I started doing my Knopfler songbook, I only knew less than 10 of songs, how to play less of 10 of songs. So everything I learned with you, so in real time, basically. So everything, 82 or 84 songs, I just me learning in real time. So it is cool. I never knew that I will go so far, and I probably will do 100 songs at one point. Because Marx song is really a gold mine. You can learn it and learn it and learn it and learn it and always find some new things. It's incredible. Strings I use, it depends. I recently, not recently, a year or maybe 2 years ago, I found the Diodario strings that XT strings or something like that. So it's coated strings and it lasts forever and it sounds really good. I also love Martin retro strings. And here on this Martin is Martin strings. Because this guitar is a 23 inches scale length, you need a medium set of strings on Little Martin. So it's 13 to 56. And on my rest of my guitars I have, again, because this Little Martin, because the Squire Mini is a shorter scale length, you also need a thicker strings, so it's 11 to 52 or something like that. So it's medium on top and heavy on the bottom. And on my acoustic guitars I use regular light gauge strings, so it's 12 to 54 or something like that. Harley Benton, yeah, it's so cheap that you can't even think that you can actually build a guitar for that money. But it's a real guitar. The cheap guitars, like smartphones, cheap smartphones gets better and better and better. The same thing with guitars. Cheap guitars gets better and better. And for this amount of money, this is an amazing guitar. It's built perfectly and it sounds great. I looked at the Skateaway and I almost ready to do a lesson on Skateaway, but it has one thing I just can't understand yet how to talk about, and it has a part with the one part with the I don't remember, but it's something like probably G with D in the bass or something like that, and it sounds really weird on one guitar. So I still thinking about how I'm going to get away with that. It's not that song that sounds great on one guitar, and it's always hard for me to do songs like that. Hello everybody. Wild West End is a easy choice, of course, but that's one instance when the song is maybe too easy. It's 3 chords, but it has a obviously cool rhythm guitar part. I'm going to really dig into that song. The bug, I already did a solo. I already made a video on solo of the bug, and it really sets me up for the whole song. So of course I will do a video on the bug. And I love this new format, then I can discuss separately the solo and then the song. It makes for a very complete. For it to be fully complete, you need to also talk about all the feels and whatnot. But I also need to move forward. So if I'll discuss one song in like complete song, all the feels, all the little parts and everything like that, I could sing on one song for days and for weeks. So it's not my point. I also want to learn songs because I learn by learning as many songs as possible. It's really the only way you can learn guitar. Just learn songs. 6-blade knife, I think there are songs like The Bug, 6-blade knife, and songs like that are begging to talk about solo guitar. So with 6-blade knife, I will talk about solo guitar first, because this song has this great solo guitar with lots of chromatic lines, and it flows, and it has so many ideas. So I need to address that and then talk about a 3-chord rhythm, basically. Telegraph Road, yes, I think I will gonna do it someday, of course, like any song. I heard some covers that sounds pretty nice, and by the way, there are a cover of Planet of New Orleans on one guitar. I think I upload it on Facebook someday, and the guy just plays on acoustic guitar, and it sounds fabulous. So I can really just transcribe it and teach you how to play this version because it's so nice. Why a man? Why a man? I don't know how to play it in this situation really, and how I can't even remember how it goes because I recorded Why a Man 5 years ago, so I really don't know how to play it already. I think it was capo on the 5th fret. I think so. This riff, by the way, sounds excellent on a Les Paul. I played it on Les Paul, and it sounds so nice. It sounds beautiful and has this certain sound that only a Les Paul can deliver. But rhythm-wise, I can't really remember how it goes because I believe I played it in drop D tuning as well. Yeah, Hot Dog is it's probably one of the most obscure songs of Mark, and I really can't remember how it goes, but it's probably some blues of some sort. And it's fun for me to do obscure songs because it gets a nice perspective. And my favorite comments is when people say, I never even heard that song, and I play a Mark Knopfler song and they never heard it, and they hear it from me first, and it's funny. And it's funny to do songs that you don't expect, like I did Private Dancer. But this song was written by Mark, and he gave it to Tina to record. Taylor or Martin? Of course, Martin. I don't like Taylor for some reason. I honestly I don't like the design. I like this design, but I'm not a fan of Taylor design. And I know you not necessarily play on a design, you play on guitar. But if I can't buy Martin, why I should buy Taylor if I'm not a fan of design? I know it's cool guitars, and a lot of people play Taylor guitars. I think who sang Sailing to Philadelphia? James Taylor plays, I believe, Taylor guitars, or it's me confusing names or something. Harley Benton also makes great strings, guitar strings, and they cost like $1 for a set of strings or something like that. It's insane how you can. I don't know. Even I think Diadario $1 is like just a plastic wrapping they do for the rare strings. But here it's like it's a full set of strings, and I really don't know how you make all these things. This guitar $350 again, but it's beautiful. It's insanely good craftsmanship, and it's a cheap guitar. It's a small guitar. It's incredibly small guitar. You can't even imagine how much it's small. When you take it for the first time, it's incredibly small, but it's a travel guitar, so it makes sense. And as I said, it's exactly like my little mini Strat. The dimensions is exactly the same, but it's all travel guitars, so you can toss them everywhere, in any guitar, in any car trunk, in every compartment of airplanes or something. So it's great guitars to travel, obviously. Yeah, I'll do Terminal of Tribute, I'll do Don't Suck Me In. I want to do so many songs. I just wish I never have so enough time to do all the songs, but I already recorded more than 80 songs, so I'll get to other songs. About Skateway, the thing is, I don't really remember how it goes, to be honest. I remember that I picked that out, but I don't remember how it goes. I can do it in real time, but I have also some questions. I don't know where the magic comes in Marx playing, but it's really true that his playing is so simple that it's for a music nerd like theory nerd. It's like it's nothing. It's literally, it's so simple that you can't even think about it. It's all really one or two pentatonics, maybe a Dorian mode or something, Dorian Mixolydian mode, and that's it. So it's really simple. It's blues, some chromatic lines, Dorian Mixolydian, and that's it. So it's not hard by any means. And the beauty comes, I don't know, it's just the whole package, because he wrote the song, because he wrote the lyrics, and it's a whole package. You can't judge just lines, or you can't judge the certain licks, like in Sailing to Philadelphia, he once played this line. Or something like that, but it's only a pentatonics, but it sounds so great, and I think that's just why we love him so much. And it's Mark. It's all that can you say. Thank you for a £5, though I don't think I will be able to get that money, because in Russia now everything is closed. PayPal is closed. I can't. So everything closed. So I don't know how to get money. Romeo and Juliet, yes, outro is amazing, and it's also a couple of chords or 3 chords. I think I'll do in my series on solos, I have to do a solo, outro solo in Romeo and Juliet because it's beautiful. And of course I'll do that. Yeah, YMN is a song that doesn't have a single way to play it, as in like songs like The Wreck Picture's Dream, where you can't really you can play it, but it really has one great way to play it, but YMN has a lot of ways to play it, so you can play it any way you like, really. Again, 6-bit knife, I think if I'm going to teach 6-bit knife, I think I'll show some common licks, but licks aren't coming from nowhere. The lick is something based on something, on shape or on scale, so it's easier to me to show the scale, and it gets obvious where this lick comes from. For instance, from this E major shape or this E major shape. So as I'm not a great improviser, as I said, and I'm not a musician, it's easier for me to talk concepts, and I'm not talking about really improvising, because again, I'm not a good improviser. I can learn pretty much anything. Not anything, I'm not a guitar god, but I recently wanted to learn this thing, Chet Atkins tune called Stars and Stripes Forever. I can play it, but I can't record it, if you know what I mean. So because to record it, you need to be a musician, basically. So you can't just be like me and record Stars and Stripes Forever, because you need to be a professional musician to record it. But I can play it, and I can understand how it goes, and I can pick up I can pick up all this stuff, and more importantly, I can teach that, because I understand how it works and how it put together. So as a teacher, I'm in a really good situation because I'm not dependent on this box, so I can just share my love for music in that sense. By the way, speaking of musician, I watched this video and it was called like 10 worst mistakes by a guitar teacher, or something like that. And one mistake, a sign of a bad guitar teacher. And one of the first signs in this video, the guy said like, if your teacher doesn't have musical ambitions, you need to stay away from that teacher. And I think that's a bad idea, because I think if I don't have a musical ambitions, I can concentrate on what I'm doing. It's like luthier and guitar builder and guitar repair. So I think you need to do either guitar building or guitar repair. Same with teaching. You can't be an artist and also be a great teacher, because usually a great artist is a bad teacher and a great teacher is a bad artist. So I think it works like that. Yes, Mark anchors 2 fingers down on the guitar body, and I don't know how he does it. I can't really do it like he does. If I anchor my hand, I anchor on the little finger, more like Chet Atkins. I don't know how he does it, but it's probably the most unique way of playing I can think of, on the level of Django playing with 2 fingers. It's incredibly unique, and I believe that if you just try to play it like that, it will not work, because I think it's a physical thing. And you can recognize Chet Atkins, though he plays usual stuff, but he can recognize him, because I think if I had physically Mark's hands or Chet's hands, I probably would sound more like them, but I have a completely different set of hands, so I can't really sound like Mark. And speaking of blocking strings, I think he naturally blocks the first string, obviously, because it's easy to block with this position. So he naturally blocks it a lot. But all the other blocking, it's really hard to say. I think it's more like playing slide guitar, so it's like blocking 1 string at a time. I certainly need to make a video on Mutant Strings, because Mutant Strings, watch Rick Beato video, some of his videos, and he says a lot about that Mutant Strings is the hardest part of the guitar playing, because that only develops with time. You can mute with the left hand, you can mute with the right hand, you can even mute by not playing something, if you know what I mean, because I don't need really to mute the 6th string, because I just don't play it, so I don't need to mute it. But if I want to, I may mute it, but something you mute even by not playing it, if you understand. And with Mark, because Mark's playing is so economical and so perfect, he really mutes a lot of strings by just not playing this string. It doesn't mean he uses the palm of his hand or left hand or something. He just so perfectly plays, so it won't need any muting at all. He's that great. Cheers from Germany. What it is? You mean this? Mark's playing is all over the pentatonic scale. It's 90% of his playing. It's pentatonics, a little bit of chromatic lines, and that's it. I already said it's very simple. It's very boring for a music theory nerd and for music YouTuber. Yeah, thank you for watching. Yes, I never thought that I'll get so many comments. I thought I'll get like 10 comments and that's it, but I think seeing the amount of comments, I think I'll gonna do it more. Yeah, I Dug Up a Diamond is again a great song, and when I visit my own website, MK Songbook, I open it and I can see all these songs that I never touched. It's so many songs. It's more than 100 of great songs, and you see that Telegraph Road, So Far Away, Conan Elvis, Fade to Black, You and Your Friend, Ticket to Heaven, My Patisse, Darling Pretty, A Night in Summer Long Ago, I'm the Fool, Nobody's Got the Gun, I'm in Trouble Now, El Macho, Daddy Gone to Knoxville, Old Pigwit, Right Now, Bell Star, All the Road Running. And it's tens and dozens of great songs, and I can go on, and I'm happy that I have so much content to make videos about. So many great songs. Yeah, thank you for saying that I inspire you, because inspiration, the Bob Dylan said that the ultimate goal of art is inspiration, and I think it says it all. You don't play or do something in music to show off or something like that. It's all about inspiration, and I get inspired all the time. I'm a musician. No, I'm a guitar player. A musician is somebody who, especially a professional musician, is somebody who, I'm not a musician. I'm a music lover. That suits me fine. Yeah, Song for Sonny Liston is probably the hardest Marx song I ever played, and I can't really play it even today after so many years of studying his guitar style, because it's really hard to play. I still not know. I want to make a separate video, a new video on how I failed basically learning Song for Sonny Liston, because I can really approximate it, and I really want to know better how to play it. But it's a very hard song. It's an incredibly hard song. I think my favorite songs, Mark Knopfler songs to play, the songs like 5:15 a.m., the songs like True Love Will Never Fade. You get so much enjoyment on just strumming these songs that I think when in my video I say I can't stop, I can't stop. So if I play 5:15 a.m., I want to go on and play it completely because it's such a beautiful song and so beautiful played. And the beauty in 5:15 a.m. is that it's complete. So it has an intro, it has it's a middle part and solo section, and it gets quieter in the end, and it has this beautiful structure. And you can imagine how Mark crafted this song because it's so perfect, and it has the beautiful ending, and it's specific ending with specific chords. It doesn't end with some fade out or something like that. It's just a beautiful song. Pushed and pulled the barrels, the house boys and a rolling man. 5:15 a.m. Wow, it's great lyrics, it's great story, great backstory, it's great arrangements, it's great guitar playing, great singing, great everything. It's a masterpiece. And songs like True Love Will Never Fade. It's just a beautiful song, and you can't take it. You can't take it away. True love will never fade. True love will never fade. True love will never fade. I will never, there's no forever. No walking hand in hand on a yellow brick road. It's my favorite thing to do. I just love to sit and just strum these songs. It's so beautiful. Travel Man song again is a masterpiece in that regard. So many great songs, and it's really hard to pick one, but I always say if I need to pick one song, I always pick the Red Picker's Dream, because I love jazz and I love the double bass, so it's kind of my thing. So it really struck, that song struck a chord with me. Now, Mark Knopfler showing his magic on an acoustic guitar is a great video, and yes, it's just Mark Knopfler showing his magic on acoustic guitar. It's really, it's an honest name in that regard. He's the greatest, really. Yeah, you're asking great questions about popularity of Mark's work, and I think about this all the time, why he's so underrated. And he's really underrated, but I think in the sense that not everybody talks about Mark's music, everybody talks about everyone else's music, but when asked about his music, everybody go, yeah, Mark Knopfler is a genius, and yeah, he's great. Nobody talks about him, but when asked about his music, everybody agree that he's a genius. And I don't know why, but I think because it's his goal also. He's a guy who's all about privacy. He doesn't love fame and all this stuff, because I think if he wanted to, he could be that guy everybody talks about, but he doesn't want that, and so we don't get that. So it's as simple as that. Yeah, there are many good songs, and people often bash me and critique me that I only show a part of the song. And I don't think that it's a honest critique, because the song is that form of music that is, how to say it, it's really easy in a sense that you have repetition all over the place. So you learn one place and it gets repeats. So the music a song can have a minute of original material and 5 minutes above that just repeats. And that's the beauty at the same time of learning songs, because you can it doesn't require you to learn a lot of stuff. So you learn just a couple of shapes and a couple of chords, and you can play any song and remember a lot of songs. It's usually a basic structure, A, B, A, and something like that. So it's an advantage and disadvantage at the same time. But if you don't want to play the song in full, like I rarely play, like sit and play 5:15 a.m. from the beginning to the end. I'm not a musician, and I'm not this type of guy who geek or play music, but I can play a bit of 5:15 a.m. and I'm happy with that. I don't need the full experience. Or I think it's a great idea to play with the song, so it's like you put a song and just play over it, and I think it's also nice. I'm a music lover again. I'm not a musician. So nothing wrong here with learning half of the song, because it's again not about getting the full song learned or something like that. It's just learn this song, learn this set of half of song, learn half of this song, and eventually you will be at the level you can play any song basically. Привет из Санкт-Петербурга в Новосибирск. As you can see, I'm speaking in Russian exactly the same as I'm speaking English, and it's just the way I speak. I'm not like trying to come up with words. I speak in Russian just like I speak in English. Badly. I don't think that Mark plays guitar like the banjo, because I'm not a banjo player. And speaking of banjo, by the way, there are a great video where Chet Atkins plays banjo, and you think that Chet Atkins is this great guitar hero, and he goes and plays banjo perfectly. So we don't know a lot about these guys, and I think he played more instruments. And I never played banjo. Yeah, songs like that, songs like Get Lucky. Again, it's not an insanely hard song. Better with my muscles when I'm in my mouth. I walk the fairgrounds in the summer. I go creek fruit down south. I earn chili wings. When the weather goes, I follow. Pick up my shoveling things. Go with the swallows. and I might get lucky now and then. I played this song a long time ago, so I can't just recreate that on the spot, but it's a beautiful song. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. So many great songs. Yeah, Postcards from Paraguay. This song really got me into fingerpicking because I learned this. I did Hill Farmer's Blues actually, so you can find it on my channel. So I don't need to, at least for now, I don't need to go back to this song. But again, it's a wonderful tune. And the beautiful thing is that it's really a blues. So it's Hill Farmer's Blues. Barrel is a great song, and I think it's couple on the 3rd fret. It's a really easy strumming song. I don't remember how it goes. Five chords, but it's a beautiful song. And with Barrel, I think greatest thing is that when the album came out, as I work really fast, I made the whole transcription of the whole album and put it on the Ultimate Guitars website. And with that song, particular song, it now has almost 100 5-star ratings, 42,000 views, and 800 favorites. So it's a really popular song. And when Mark is talking about how Barrel is his new Sultans of Swing, in some regard it's really new Sultans of Swing because it's really popular. And it's really great song, and it has this Sultans of Swing guitar style to it. Of course I need to do a video on Barrel, and I'll do it. Yeah, slide guitar, because of your donations, I was able to buy a slide guitar. I was able to buy most of that equipment, so you really made it possible. And slide guitar, obviously, if I bought a guitar, I'm going to do more slide songs, and that includes Lives of Taormina, it includes Mighty Man, it includes Donegan's Gun, it includes, so every slide guitar song you can think of, I'm going to do it. And the funny thing is that I actually need to learn how to play slide because it's not my thing. And again, as I'm not a musician needs to have this in his toolbox, playing with a slide. And as I'm a couch guitar player, it's not really my territory. So, but I'll do that. I have a guitar and I can do that, so I'll do that. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. On the forums, it's a really tough topic to to talk about is because it's insane. It's all over the place. I think the Hall of Fame, I'll say that if I were Mark, I would also not go there. Let's put it that way. I think it's a strange thing. It's a strange thing to me. If I were Mark, I would not go to want there because it's just strange. And this idea of, I'm not a fan of awards of and things like that. And I think when you get knighted in UK and you put Sir before your name, I think it cheapens a little bit everything that you did before. So I'm more in line with guys who refuse to be knighted. And I don't remember who David Bowie refused to be knighted or somebody. So there are people who refused to be knighted, and I think it's more like I would want it to be. So if I were a British music legend, I would refuse to go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, refuse to be a Sir, refuse everything, because I'm not a fan of awards. Yes, you can buy Slide just like Mark uses. The trouble is, I can't buy anything from abroad right now. I can't buy nothing from eBay, from Reverb, from Amazon, because everything is closed. Visa is closed, MasterCard is closed. So we're in dire straits. Quite right, in dire straits. I thought about donations thing, and I thought about this payment for lessons and how you can actually pay me for lessons. And there's only one way to do it, I found. And it was this, I already talked about in this video, with donations. It's only this thing, it's only donation alerts. It's the only thing that really works. It really works in Russia, because PayPal doesn't work. Patreon doesn't work, nothing works basically. So we need to really invent ways to deal with things, and it's insane. Yeah, 5:15 a.m. is a great first song to learn, and this song is one of the funniest stories of me learning songs, actually, because I remember first I learned it with the couple on the first fret, and it went like this. And I thought, wow, I can hear this A bass. I'm a great transcriber, and I transcribed it that way. 5:15 a.m. snowing all around. Calling cycles home from his night shift underground. And so I transcribed the whole song. That way I thought it's amazing. I put it on the web, and I believe this version is still on the web. And it's one of these songs that I just one day, when I got better, I fumbled around the couple positions and I just stumbled across 3rd fret, and I thought, but this is the same thing as D shape on a couple on the 1st fret, and I thought, but it sounds more like on the record. And this really was the start for me, this whole thing that you can play something, but it's not necessarily the right way to do it, because you can play it in the 1st fret, at the cup on the 1st fret, but it sounds not as good as it sounds on the 3rd fret. And the funniest thing in that story is that on the records it's actually both capo on the third fret and first fret. So you see, I got it partly right. So it's not necessarily that I completely wrong. It's just one piece of the puzzle. So it's capo on the first fret on electric guitar, and it's capo on the third fret on acoustic guitar, and it's a whole jiggle puzzle, and it's really hard to do. G.G. Cale is really one of the biggest inspirations, and because I'm not a YouTuber also, I'm not a musician and I'm not a YouTuber, it's really hard to me. It's only because I lost my job, I have now more time to do it, and I'm more inclined to do that, but I still want to have an actual job and do music as a side hobby. But I thought about making a list of G.J. Cale songs that sounds like Mark played on these songs, really, because it's almost like a same sound. So when Mark started, everybody said that he sounds like J.J. Cale, and I think it's fair. It's as fair as like an artist today would go out and play things like Mark. Everybody would say like, well, he sounds like Mark Knopfler, right? But because he wrote songs, because he did all these things, he developed his own sound and became a guy who everybody talks about, like, you play like him. Because when he started, it was Mark plays like J.J. Cale, right? And then it's like J.J. Cale sounds like Mark Knopfler. I think you get my point. I think I'll do a video on songs J.J. Cale inspired the most, and obviously it's a big inspiration. Bob Dylan, J.J. Cale, and it's all great guys, and I recommend jumping through their whole body of work. Just listen everything and pick out what you like, and I think you like most of it. I don't remember that I necessarily learned any J.J. Cale song, but I listened a lot of them. Boom Like That. I think it happens to be capo on the third fret. I don't really remember how it goes. It's another song. How Boom Like That sounds. See, I can't remember everything what I do. So sometimes, and I'll be honest, sometimes I watch my own videos to remember how to play the song, like this. Boom Like That. Because I don't really remember how to play it. And here it is. Yeah. And by the way, McDonald's is closed in Russia. So, as I said, the third time it's really tough here. Everybody gets away from here, and it's bad. The situation is pretty bad. And that's the answer to the question, how life in Russia. It's generally good, but I think you understand that my life as a person is different as my life as a citizen. And as a citizen, it's really bad. But overall, I don't want, and I don't really have an intention to leave Russia, and I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be an immigrant, and I don't want to start my life from scratch. So I want to live here, and I want to do what I can do here, and hope for the best. But a lot of people already escaped Russia, and good for them. Iron Hand. How it goes. Some songs I can't really remember from the get-go. Yes. This song, I think the hardest part is that this thumb over the top thing. And that you need to be able to let this melody to ring out. But it's possible to play it like that also. British Grove broadcast, it's a great thing, and I was so disappointed that it's only 24 episodes, because I love to hear stories, and I love one of the most favorite things I do is just listening to music, and hundreds of songs, thousands of songs every day. I just do it all the time, and having Mark Knopfler showing you his favorite songs, it was really a present. It's just a big present. And speaking of British Grove broadcast, you can mail me at my email, and I can talk you. I can help you with that. Just mail me. Yeah, Gravy Train is another song that I can do. There are hundreds of songs that I can do. And speaking of Telegraph Road, Live in Basel, there are also many versions of songs, and especially when I started doing solos, when I transcribe songs, I usually listen to all the versions that you can find of live version, every live version, live recordings, bootlegs, radio interviews, covers even, because why I'm listening to covers, because sometimes, and I'm not I make mistakes all the time, and sometimes I watched some cover and I can pick up something that I would probably get wrong or something like that. I remember when I did this Chet Atkins tunes. There was a lick that goes like how it went. I can't remember how it went, but I played it somewhere like here, and I watched this guy play it, and he went like I can't remember how it went. I can look it up, but anyway, and he played it right, and I played it too complicated. And the trouble with learning music, the trouble with transcribing music, the trouble with probably writing music is overthinking something. And often you can play something too hard. And through the years I developed this this technique, this mentality, or this skill. Then I sort of feel when I know that this is not a way to play it because it's too hard to play it. And professional musician, speaking of Mark Knopfler, Chet Atkins, Tommy Emmanuel, they need to play these things night after night, night after night. And if you have something that you can play one time out of 10 times, that means that you can't play it before the audience. And that means it needs to be easy enough so you can get it 10 out of 10 times, if you know what I mean. Corned Beef City is a great song. Again, one of the songs that I need to do. I never tried to play it before, but I think it's gonna be any song that Marx still plays live, because he's so strict about his playlist, his set list. Any song that he still plays live is guaranteed to be worth learning, just like that. So of course Corned Beef City is worth learning, and any song that he still plays is worth learning. And I really want to get to that. Speaking of Murka, I actually learned quite a lot of Russian songs, and I learned quite a lot of French songs. I learned quite a lot of Japanese songs in Portuguese. When I was starting to play, my favorite music was bossa nova, and I was all over the bossa nova. I learned Luis Bonfá songs. I tried to learn because he's like also a guitar genius, and I learned a lot of Russian songs, and sometimes I still play Alexandra, How It Went. And there are great Russian songs, there are great Japanese songs, there are great every songs, and I love French songs. In fact, one of my recent songs that I play just on repeat all the time is La Giovanese by Serge Gainsbourg. That's also a masterpiece, and I can tell you, I learned from my life, I learned so many songs that you really, I just hear a song and I learn it. It's like that in hundreds of songs. It doesn't matter the language of that, the instrument of that. It can be a jazz piano song, it can be an orchestral piece. I learned Rachmaninoff pieces on guitar. I learned everything. This is my point. This is the point of my channel. Is just sometimes you need just to physically learn as many songs as possible to get going on the guitar. And of course, it's not about quality at first, but then you get experience. It will be quality and quantity. Hello from France. I love France. I love all the world. Yeah, there are many similar songs from J.J. Kelly. As I said, a lot of his songs, it sounds like Mark played on it with his signature electric guitar sounds. You know that. Fourth position or two position, depends on how you look at it. Fourth position strat, basically, and it gets used, by the way, all the time by other musicians. There was a thread on a forum, a Mercantile forum, about just musicians and songs that sounds similar to Mark. And obviously, the trouble here is that Mark's setup for sound is probably the cheapest and the easiest setup you can ever get. You can get $100 guitar, plug it in one of these like cheap mini practice amplifier, take it to the fourth position, and you're all set for Mark Knopfler sound. You don't need any pedals, you don't need any expensive guitars and gear, you're already set. The trouble here is that the ticket to his playing may be cheap one, but it's expensive to learn how he plays. And as you can see, I still learn it, and I'm far from even getting close, if you think about really, because again, it's an iceberg, and on top of this iceberg is this Mark Knopfler, the artist, and underneath is this huge body of work he put in his playing and writing and everything like that. So you can buy a $100 guitars, put it on the fourth position, plug it in a cheap amplifier, but as long as you don't put enough in your playing and learning and listening to music, it makes it not worth it. I forget the chords all the time. Of course, when I learn the song and I need to go to my studio and record it, I need to learn it so yeah, I can really play it. But of course, if I play the song 5 years ago, I can't. Sometimes I can't remember it, but I more like transcribe it on the fly. And by the way, if you take some of Roy Orbison's songs, they are really great for transcribing because they're so beautifully written that you can sort of feel the next chord. Songs like In Dreams, I need to listen to the song before, but it flows so naturally that you can sort of feel the next chord, and you don't really necessarily need to transcribe it to learn it. And great music is intuitive music. I'm not a fan of ultra this bebop jazz stuff, the microtonal music. I love simple stuff, and I think my goal from my channel is convey this love for simple stuff. fills Mark uses. Yeah, Mark has a lot of fills that he uses and a lot of stuff he uses. I think I just need to do a separate video. I can't pull off an example right now because I really, when you're recording, you can't really remember anything. But I'll try to look at that, and I think I'm thinking about doing a solo video on Solo for Layla, because it's an important song and it get requested a lot. I think it's possible to send me something. I think it's possible, but it's certainly impossible to. It's certainly impossible for me to buy something, but you can probably send me something, and you can always contact me through my email for all sorts of things and requests. This email I registered on Google in 2006, so it's like an ancient email, and I use it all the time. So just hit me an email, and I can answer your questions and whatnot. And I want to make more teaching, and I'll do a separate video on teaching. I'll need to come up with my curriculum and some stuff like that, and so I really need to work on that. But anyway, we can discuss stuff in the email. I really love to talk with people and to text people. And by the way, speaking of live streams, I'm not a fan of speaking. I rarely speak in my life. I'm more about writing, and I love writing, but I know that I need to speak and I need to do live streams because that's that people want, and that's what I want from others. So I really just need to do that. I must do. Portobello Bell is again one of my favorite songs, and again a song that I need to play. There are so many songs I need to go through, but as I now have a little bit more free time, because I try to find a real job, but if I'll find a real job, I think I'll have not a full time. I think I'll have like half time and put more work in my channel, because it really, if I'm able to do that, I think I need to do that. I can't just throw it away, so I need to continue working. Portobello Bell, especially the live version is insanely good, and this version from Money for Nothing compilation. And Wild West End, I'll do that. National Style 14th fret, I'll play it, believe it or not, I play it on this guitar. The guy who gave me my Gibson as a gift, he had a National guitar, and it sounds like a dream. It's one of the best guitars I ever played. And there was a time we bought a double bass to just play some music, and we hired this guy. We found this guy who played on double bass, and this guy brought his National Style old guitar, and we played another piece from Where the Dog, I think in the Heartland it's called. and it sounds like the most beautiful thing that I heard in my entire life. And this national guitar, you take one note and you melt. It sounds so beautifully. It's just, again, it's one of the best guitars I ever played. Though the only trouble with this particular guitar that it costs like an airplane. So it's for most musicians it's out of the question, because it's like 5,000 euros or something. So I personally, I can't, even if I had the money, for me, I would not be able to justify buying a 5,000 euros guitar, because I'm not a professional and I can't really use it. But I can appreciate the sound. I can appreciate it. What is your favorite Marx solo? It's really hard to pick, but I think the one he did with how it was. Of course, it depends on my mood and all sorts of things, but I think the thing he did with Tom Jones, Feel Like Going Home, is like insanely good solo. Insanely good solo. Just Google it, Mark Knopfler, Tom Jones, Feel Like Going Home. And it's funny that one of the best Marx solos are these other projects that he played. And one also he's a so amazing solo on Baloney Again, the song is called. I can remember how I played it, but I forgot the title. And that solo is insanely good. But I think, and another solo that I want to cover is, speaking of simple solos, I just recently recorded a song. And again, speaking of enjoyment, I recently recorded Scaffolder's Wife. Don't begrudge her the mark, it's been nothing but a word. And a hard life, losing her roots over company boots. The scaffolder's a wife. And here he plays. There are 4 notes and I just melt. So it doesn't need to be an extremely hard solo. And I think the most beautiful solos of Marx is where he plays simple stuff. And one of the solos I want to cover in my next videos is the solo for What a Wonderful World. And it was something like... I need to cover that song because it's too beautiful. It's again a side project, but I have a lot of things to say about this particular arrangement, and I love that song. And again, I'll record a video on that song because I have so much things to say about this particular song and this particular solo. But it's a simple solo, and again, it's one of my favorite solos, Marx solos of all time. What a Wonderful World. Recently, this recording actually 10 years has passed from this recording. Yes, this guy on YouTube called Pavel. He was my friend, and he gave me my Gibson Advanced Jumbo. So he's a cool guy, but unfortunately we parted ways with him, and it's like it's how life works. So we're not friends anymore. Japanese songs like that, well, it's hard to tell, because I can't learn Japanese, obviously, and it's really like another so I can't even tell you the name of the song, but I somehow found it and I loved it. And some of these Japanese songs you can find on my Spotify playlist, and it's a big playlist, and I just throw any songs I like there, but it's only a part of my listening experience anyway. The story of Portobello Bell, I don't really know it. Obviously, when I research a song, I need to learn a backstory and stuff like that. And oftentimes it's beautiful, and I can contact some of the British guys who can give me some perspective on the song and stuff like that. But I don't really into that. As you can see, I'm more into guitar playing, so sometimes I don't really need to know a backstory to enjoy a song. And sometimes a song like Monteleone is you need to know the backstory to appreciate this song, but most often you don't really need that. And for some songs, like Traveler Man's song, Mark even said that he doesn't want to tell a story of this song because it would spoil the thing. So you not always need to know a story about the song. Of course, Portobello Bell is going to be a love song, so, or not a love song, but a song about a girl or something like that. So it's I think that's quite obvious, even for non-English speaking people. But the funny thing is that for some songs, and I don't really know how it happens, but sometimes you hear the song and you can even feel what this song is about. And I think this is the really magic of music, and when you are so connected and when the writer is so capable of transferring this inspiration into his work. I think this is the most beautiful thing, when you hear a song and you can't tell what this song is about, even never learning lyrics. And especially for me, as a Russian-speaking person, and when I listen to songs in English, I listen it like it's not like the songs in my native tongue. So I really can concentrate on the music and not listening to lyrics, and it gives me an advantage of some sorts, because I'm not so concerned about words and that sort of things. Hello from France. Hello from St. Petersburg. Yeah, I can bring. And see, that's the beauty of my setup, my new setup I've been working for 2 weeks on, is that I can just take this guitar and I'm all set. It looks just like it looked. Yes, I am planning on doing private lessons because I think it's the path I need to go. Again, for if you tuned out recently, I speak about me using this dire straits situation in Russia because it's insane, and I lost my job and everything like that, and I want to use that as an opportunity for me to go forward, and this is my first live stream ever, and I want to lean more towards actual teaching. This is what I want to do. Redbud Tree, again, Redbud Tree is yet another song I need to cover. Redbud Tree get requested a lot and all the time. Of course, I will do Redbud Tree because it's the opening song of the Privateering album, and of course I will do that. And yes, back to Tupelo. I can't remember from how it went, but yes, it's very simple and it's very beautiful, and this is an example of song. Wow. When I think about Back to Tupelo, I think about how slow this song is and how to a guy who listen Marx music for the first time, I think somebody can think that it's just a slow and boring ballad and this slow thing, but when you really listen to it and when you really get to the beauty of it, I think it's one of Marx's best songs, and the solo is really powerful there. I can't remember how it goes. Again, I need to rewatch my own video. I sometimes do that. But yes, I would watch my video again, and I probably will talk about this solo as well, and I recorded this song actually live with the guy. Again, it's the same guy with national guitar and stuff like that, and he approximated this solo on a Gibson Classic Les Paul, and it was great. Hello from St. Petersburg, Ukraine. I love Ukraine, and I just need you to know that I'm against all that shit. Are we in trouble now? Yeah. Again, it's insanely simple stuff, and I can leave guitar for a year, never played it for a year, come back and I'll go, because it's easy. It's not something that you really need to train for years to play. You need to play this song, you need to train this more than hands. So it's more about, again, listening as many songs as you possibly can. learn, and it's more about getting your taste right, getting your music taste right, reading books, listening to interviews and stuff like that. Only my point is that you'll be able to play all this stuff only if you full as a person. I know it's a strange thing to say from a guitar teacher, but I think it's important not just to play flashy stuff on guitar, but sometimes get everything else up to the standard. Yes, Darling Pretty is a pretty song, and I recently tried to learn it, and it's again one of the songs that's hard to talk about because probably I need to do a solo on it and then talk about rhythm. And the trouble with this song is that it's played on 12 string, and I don't have a 12 string guitar, but I think I can get away with that. So again, I'll need to record that song as well. Yeah, national guitar sounds like heaven, I think, in any position, in any couple, and I think it's a really beautiful guitar, of course. And speaking of resonator guitars in general, I played on the cheaper guitars, and they sound not as good. So this is the situation when the price really matters, because you can get away with a Squier playing electric guitar stuff, but I think for national guitars, you need to have this national guitar for it to sound like heaven. Yeah, Money for Nothing on Strat, I don't care a lot about this stuff personally, because of course I can go out and buy a Les Paul, buy a Marshall amp, do all this, but as I'm not a kind of a guy to spend so much money, I don't care. So I played Money for Nothing on acoustic guitar. So it's insane. Romeo and Juliet going to Love Over Gold. Yeah, Marx, from that, I think it's a generally great idea to tie two songs together when you play live, because it sounds really good. And for a long time I had this idea to play a cover of How Long? And immediately play Wild West End after it, so it would be 2 times slower. So I love then songs get combined live, but you can't do it often, so it sounds really good. And I think in the 19th, Romeo and Juliet, but I love these transitions of songs, of course. People from all the countries of the world are watching a guy talking about Marx, yes, and I think it's the main thing that inspires me, because as a guy, I am a guy basically from a third country world, So it's a poor country, it's a terrible management or something and anything like that. And for me to really be able to get close to 20,000 subscribers, it's insane, especially considering that I'm talking about nearly exclusively about Marx music. So you get a guy from Russia who talks about Mark Knopfler song, who's not popular in the first place. So he's underrated and not popular. And you have a guy who talks about his music, and he's from Russia, and he's not an English-speaking person and stuff, and not a musician and stuff like that. And he has a 20,000 subscribers. So I think that really inspires me, because music really transcends geography, and I think it's one of the best types of art to do that, because it really, as I said already, I learned Russian songs, I learned Japanese songs, French songs, and it's, to me it's music. I never see it like this is black music, this is white music, this is French music, this is Polish music. I mean, it has its place, and it sounds typical for the region or something like that, but it's really amazing. Yeah, hello from Canada. Yeah, it's hard for me to choose the time to go live, because, and by the way, speaking of lessons, one-on-one lessons, it's really hard for me to pick the time, because my audience is all over the place, and I have watched people watched me from Vatican, from Chile, from Brazil, from United States, both West and East Coast, from UK. Most of my audience is from the United States. And imagine me trying to sync my clocks with 7-hour time difference. So, and it's 7-hour difference, 3 hours time difference, and it's all over the place. So it's going to be really hard for me, but again, I'll try to do that. And speaking of that, I think the better idea for me would be to do custom videos. So you ask the question or record a question, and I record and answer the question in this format. So I have all my guitars, and I can answer basically any question that you like, except for improvising, because I'm not I'm not a musician and I'm not an improviser, but I can play a lot of stuff. Can you do chicken picking? As I'm not a guitar player in a band, I don't really have a place to do chicken picking. But if you ask me for any technique, to play any technique, it's hard to say, because yes, I play chicken picking, but if I play something, so if I play a song that requires me to play chicken picking, or if I play Chet Atkins tune that require me to sweep picking, I can sweep pick. And if a song demands something, or play harmonics, I can play that. But again, I don't think that technique alone is something that you play. A professional musician would play you stuff right now all over the neck with chicken picking examples. A guy like Greg Koch or some professional musician, he would be amazing at that, but I'm not a guy to ask to give you example of chicken picking, unfortunately. So it's really hard for me to get into teaching again. I watched these online guitar teachers, and they all usually have multiple degrees, multiple diplomas, multiple this and that, and 10 years of teaching experience, and 10 years of this experience, and 10 years of being in a band, and 10 years of guitar technician, and all that stuff. And I don't have anything. I'm just a guy who plays great songs on my sofa, basically. So of course I'm going to learn more, but in the first place I'm not this kind of a person who's a musician and can pull off out of the head some magic. I'm generally not an improvise type of a guy. I more like to have things set up in advance, so it has a certain standard. And that means that if I make a custom video, it means that I can think of this situation and I can really come up with the solution, and I come up with steps, and I can come up with this whole idea, like my lessons on my channel. I'm not just sitting and spitting out the gold. I sit for a long time on this video, and I can sit for a month on certain videos, and then I just get it done. So I'm not an improvising type of a guy. Doesn't have an electric. Yeah, thank you for saying that you... I don't think that I understand you right, but giving up. I have a lot of emails again dropping on this address. I have a lot of emails of people who said that they either started to play because of my channel, or continued to play because of my channel, or they played before, but then because of my channel they started to play again. And I think that's something that I am working for, because I'm not working for guys who play better than me or something like that. I think a lot of people play better than me, and especially YouTubers. When I look at YouTubers, it just blow my mind. I think it's not even, like Marx says, small potatoes what I do. It's not even small potatoes. It's not. It's basically, compared to other YouTubers, it's nothing. But I think it's not my strong point. And my strong point, I think, is more in the inspiration department. Of course, I can play a lot of stuff and I can teach a lot of stuff, but I think it's not my goal. It's not what I want to do. And getting these emails that people started to play, you can't really ask for more, because I don't get emails of people saying that I quit playing because of your videos or something like that. So to inspire somebody to start playing is the greatest goal that I can achieve. Yeah, I can make a lot of covers, but with covers, it's a tough thing, because I so rarely cover songs for one reason, because my standards are so not necessarily high, but I just need for planets to align, so the song needs to be sound good in small group situation or on one guitar. It needs to sound good on one guitar. I need to be able to sing it. It doesn't need to be too low for me to sing. The arrangement must be interesting enough. So for instance, for the Ragpicker's Dream, I never would just play it. I need something else, and that something else was my harmonica. And I put a simple harmonica on it, and it clicks for me. Golden Heart, my uke did the whole work, because the whole arrangement is built on the uke part. So it's as simple as that. As all the planets align, I can make a cover. But again, I'm not a musician to just like Josh Turner, put a cover after cover after cover, and it's all amazing, because for that you go to Josh Turner channel. So it's as simple as that. For me, you go for different things. That was an answer to not a question, but about how long and Wild West End tie together. And again, that one idea can make your cover work, and it's either the perfect recreation of something, or that one great idea that can make the whole thing work. And as I said, I want to go out and play a perfect Chet Atkins rendition of something, but it's really hard for me because I don't have the chops to do it right. That's why I would love to do more covers, but as I'm not a musician, and again, I have a lot to say, so excuse me for going for so long. It's insane. Speaking of playing songs, Marx songs, on the other hand, you don't need to be a virtuoso. As I already said, I can leave guitar for a year, get back and play songs, Marx songs, just like I played it. So it doesn't require this level of playing. So that's the beauty of it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And so everything that I play on my channel is really simple stuff, as long as you put enough work to it. So that's my point. It's simple stuff, but you need to get to this stuff. It's not like it doesn't happen overnight, of course, but you need to work on that. Yeah, hello from Spain and Italy. I'd love to travel, but it's impossible to travel right now. It's too expensive. You can't use cards. You can't buy money, euros or something. So it's impossible to travel. It's impossible to buy things. It's impossible to do that. It's impossible to live right now. So I do all that I can in that situation. No, that's a really great question about bass notes up the neck. The bass notes up the neck, they all sound ridiculous, of course. It's not, you can't get a electric guitar that will sound good up top here. But I think I know one instance one instance when it actually works as an advantage. There was this song for Mission Impossible, I think Mission Impossible 2, and there was a song by Limp Bizkit or something like that, and it went something like, and I think it played quite high up the neck, and you can hear that. And I think that's the only time when I heard this sound used in the context of music. And John Mayer also played when he played his song with the low. There's this famous song everybody plays. I never played it after my video, by the way. I just learned it and went forward. How it was called? By the way, anyway, it's John Mayer's song. He also played it up here, and it sounds weird, but in a cool way. So I think nobody really plays up here. But when used right, it sounds nice. It has a certain color to it, but nobody plays up here because you can replace it with that and it will sound good. So it doesn't make sense to play in the dusty end, in the bottom part of the dusty end. Yeah, that's the question that I get asked a lot. Yes, it was Neon. Question about writing songs I get all the time. I get it all the time, and it's a hard question actually to answer, because yes, I tried to write songs, and who doesn't? If you love to play guitar, if you love music, if you heard all this music, if you heard all these guys play music and stuff like that, you at some point you try, but I failed. Or there are two scenarios: either I failed or I never worked hard enough to get it. So it's this two way. You can go two ways. I believe that you can learn everything. You can learn everything as long as you put enough work to it, including songwriting and including playing guitar, including something. But that you can learn it, it doesn't mean that you need to learn it or you'll be good at it or something like that. So obviously Mark put more than 10,000 hours in songwriting because he's so good at it. And my songs, I don't want to write in Russian, and I can't write in English, and I can't write in Russian, so it's really hard for me. And again, as I'm not a musician, I don't really need to write songs, because often people need to write songs, like starting all the way from the Beatles and stuff like that. They started to write songs because they needed songs to be different. So everybody played Chuck Berry and stuff like that and rock and roll, and they just needed to have this thing to distinguish themselves from others. And so they started to write their own songs. But again, they were in a band and they played night after night, and they needed that. And that's one thing. Another thing is that I don't have I don't have a voice. And Mark is not a great singer, okay? I think it's pretty clear that he's not the best singer in the world. I think I can say that and get away with that. but he's good enough singer for his songs, and I'm not good enough even for covers, let alone songs of mine. So it's really not that I want to do. So I'm not a musician, I'm not a songwriter, so I can concentrate on teaching and forget about all this hardcore stuff. So I think I know people who write songs and they do it a lot of better than me, so it's not that I'm interested in. So you say that you would pay for listening to my song. Well, the trouble is there are no my songs, so I don't write songs. Why not asking us for parts? Yeah, collaboration is a great idea, but speaking of collaboration, on my channel you can find a video on a few songs where Alexei from Moscow played on, and it's a guy who played electric guitar on the Everly Brothers tune that he played, Dream. And people ask me all the time about the electric guitar part, and I probably will do a video on that. But as he's in Moscow and I'm in St. Petersburg, we talked about collaboration for a long time, but still it never happened. But again, it all comes down to this not being a musician thing. Should I be a musician, I would go to Moscow, record with him, or I will have musicians here at hand. So again, it's all about this being a musician, and it's a disadvantage for me in some places, but an advantage in other places. So I can concentrate on teaching. This is what I mean. But I'll try to get better. It's what I can tell you. I'll try to get better, and I don't want to be just this guy who talks all the time, but he's not a musician. I want to be better at guitar, and it's also what I want to convey to you, that it's a constant process. So you learn all your life. It's not like you learned and stopped. Of course, I heard about John Mayer album, and of course, Wild Blue sounds like Dire Straits. And John Mayer actually said that he acknowledged that it sounds like Dire Straits. Of course, he would. Like, again, this situation I talked about earlier, that then Marx started, everybody said that it sounds like J.J. Cale. And here John Mayer releases a track and it sounds like Dire Straits, and everybody, it sounds like Dire Straits, but it's John Mayer, it's an original song. So that's the trouble, and that's the beauty of it. So you can tell John Mayer that he sounds like Dire Straits, but he doesn't care because he sounds like John Mayer already. So he can play this stuff and get away with it. So he can play and steal licks from Mark all the time, and it only will benefit. It's like, I can't remember this saying, but it goes something like, if I share a thought, we both have a thought, and if I shared an apple with you, it's something like you have one apple and that's it, something like that. I don't remember correctly, but I think you get the idea. It's all steal back and borrow. It's all about the music. And of course I love John Mayer because you can be in in a music loving world and not be a fan of this stuff. So it's great music. It's a great question. How many thousand hours have you practiced playing guitar? And the ugly truth is that I'm a really bad student, and of course I play a lot, but should I put a lot of really a lot of time to it, I think I would be much better. Probably I can be even be a musician, I mean proper musician, but trouble is that I don't want that. So I never wanted to be a musician, is what I mean. So if you'll watch my other videos from 8 years ago, and I played really hard stuff. I played Chet Atkins. I played duet with Chet Atkins and Mark, where they played. And again, Chet Atkins played sweep picking here, all sorts of things, and it was really hard to transcribe. And I think I put more hours into learning music than actual playing guitar. So, but it doesn't mean that you don't need to play. Maybe it just happens that it's natural thing to me. It always was. And sometimes you come across people who never read something or never work on something, and it just naturally happens. So to me it happens very naturally, especially Marx music, because I started to play fingerstyle on electric guitar before I discovered Marx music. So it's and I also played similar and loved similar kind of music he played, and I also was in the folk music at that time. So we sort of like went parallel in that regard. And then I discovered Marx music, and it's like I'm at home. And I feel at home playing his music, so it really gets natural to me. And again, it's a bad thing and it's a good thing, because it's a bad thing because I don't know that anybody can do that. Probably anybody can do that, but it's a good thing because I can teach it to you. So I think it's a great result of this thing, because I never wanted to be a musician, and I'm pretty happy with teaching, because it's a hard work as any other work. You either a musician, songwriter, or a teacher, and there are not so many people who can be great at any of these things. Well, speaking about how Mark learned, I think, by the way, I think I will close at 3 hours. I never expected it to be that long. I thought I'll talk about 15 minutes and that's it. I never expected so many people to show up, and thank you everybody. I never expected that. Privateering. But basically it's chicken picking. So you asked me about an example of chicken picking, and here it is in a folk song. So it's playing index finger with the thumb. And again here. So it has a lot of to do with just two fingers going like this. And go under here, the cannon sound. Play with pretty women, you drink my daily wine. Again, it's another type of the song I can't stop playing. It's so beautiful. And again, this so here it's almost just a single note line. Just a simple melody. But it starts with this. A bit of the chicken picking. And here it's downstroke and the chord right after that. So it's a chicken picking country chicken picking inside of the folk tune, and that's something Marx music is really interesting in that he combines all this stuff. He combines electronic this with country with blues, folk with country, folk with, and I remember he said something like he would put a concrete mixer on the record if they're experimenting more than you may expect him to experiment. And again, one of the recent songs I covered is Speedway at Nazareth, that has folk, electronic, country, and classical music inspiration. So it's really insane stuff. And here it's again country chicken picking in a folk song. So I don't know how Mark learned, but I think this guy, he just really know what he wants to achieve in his life. And I think as a teacher, he's a great teacher in the sense that he inspire people and know. Looking at his life, he's a regular guy. He never had an extremely musical family. He got a regular job. He started at 30, around my age, and he's just this regular man, as they say, an ordinary man with extraordinary life. So he's not like Paul McCartney that has father in a jazz band and stuff like that, and piano at home, and learn to play at early stage. No, he's just a regular guy who just happened to be a genius, and that's all there is to it. And I think he learned really by putting hours in it, putting hours in developing specifically his own sound. And it's hard to say because when he learned, it was a different time, of course. And it's funny, I recently had a discussion that this sound he's famous for, only J.J. Cale probably used that sound. So it was, in a sense, easy for him to jump into this train. So I think he got lucky there, but with everything else, he just worked hard, and you can't get away from working hard, and me included, because I can say that I'm not a musician. I can say that I play guitar rarely, and sometimes I leave guitar for a month and something like that. But in the beginning, I put really a lot of works into that, and you can't get away from working hard, because there are physical thing about music that you just need to physically learn how to play it, and it's something you can't get away with it. And I can relate to that because I tried to learn different instruments and failed miserably, because you suddenly realize that you can't play anything on a different instrument. Well, you can play guitar, but you don't know nothing about some other instrument, and I can get this frustration that can arise. But again, I think he just put a lot of works to it. There are no shortcuts. You will work on it and work on it. And speaking about improvising, this is really how improvising work. You take one idea, or you steal one lick from somebody, and you start to use it everywhere, in every key and in every possible way. And if you develop your lick, if Marx played something like, he's going to use that everywhere and sort of make it his own. And that's how learning works, and that's how works really improvisation and building your style, so to speak. So it's no shortcuts there. So I think he just played like a crazy man, and he told a lot about that in interviews, that he played so much that he slept with a guitar basically. So the man just really, he knew what he's wanted to do in life, and that's really inspirational, because this is an example of that. If you really want something, you can achieve that. And he really wanted to be a songwriter, and he became one of the best songwriters in the world. Simple as that. I again, for the 10th times, million times, I say, as I'm not a musician, I don't have many instruments. I can list on one hand all the instruments that I have. It's Little Martin, mini Squire, behind it's slide guitar, Silvertone, classical guitar, and acoustic guitar at home. That's it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 guitars, 4 or 5 guitars. I don't need more, because I don't have a how to call it. I don't have a foundation. I don't have a vehicle to use it, so I don't need that. Probably I'll have more guitars in the future, but for now I'm fine with acoustic guitar and cheap guitars, and I play almost exclusively cheap guitars. One World is interesting song because it's one of the rare songs of Mark when you can actually hear some slap bass, and it wasn't John Ilsley who played this bass, it was another man, and because John isn't a guy who would play that kind of bass. But it's an interesting song, again speaking about experiments, and it's a very experimental song. and it's a fun song. And I think I maybe because it's a very big album, and I think I did Walk of Life, Brothers in Arms, Your Latest Trick, and probably and and that song. And I'll do all the others. Especially I like the So Far Away is so enjoyable to play. I hope to release this video also, because it's so enjoyable to play. And all these chords. It's an amazing song, and it brings so many memories. But again, it's one of the 200s of songs that I need to work on. Expensive guitars. I love expensive guitars, and who can't love expensive guitars? Of course, everybody loves. But with expensive guitars, I think my view on guitar is that this is an instrument. I bought this guitar for teaching. I bought this guitar because I needed it, and I bought this guitar because I have an intention to earn money from that guitar to pay for this guitar, if you know what I mean. So it's an instrument, and of course you can buy a hammer that would be beautiful and filled with diamonds and be expensive, but it's still a tool, and guitar is also a tool, and the tool doesn't need to be expensive. I know that some of conductors of orchestras use these how can I delete it? Not. I heard some of a conducting, I don't know how it's called, but the thing conductors conduct music with, conductor's stick or something like that. It can be as expensive as some expensive guitar, and made from these exotic woods and everything like that. But it's still a tool, and a tool is something that need to get used. So I can't have a 5,000 guitar that A, I can't play, and B, I can't pay for it the stuff. So my view is pretty strict on that, and if I can't use the tool, I tend to not have this tool. So I'm not a fan of guys who just buy expensive instrument and they just sit like that and they look at them, and what's the point? I don't get it. So it's my view on expensive guitars. What is your technique, or how you approach the fast part of the Sultan's swing solo at the very end of the song? You talk about the twiddly beats? I think I discussed it in the bug solo, and there was a part in it that goes and this part is exactly the same as rhythmically speaking. Of course it's different notes, but it's the same idea. And I talked about it about this in my video. But it's combination of index and thumb. And the thumb hits the downbeat. And so it something like that. And play it really fast. Something like that. And it's also need a little bit of muting. So we're clocking at 3 hours. Exactly, almost exactly 3 hours. I never thought it would be that long, to be honest. And this is also trouble for me in the one-on-one lesson thing, because if I'm going to do one-on-one lesson, I tend to really engage in the conversation. So I'm not kind of a guy who like, oh, 1 hour spent, next please. So I can't do things half-heartedly, and I can't cut off people like that. So 1 hour for you, 1 hour for you. So I can't possibly have many students. So because I really engage in everything what I do, and I really put a lot of effort into my videos, I put a lot of effort in my setups, and I put a lot of effort in everything that I do. So for one-on-one lessons, it's really hard for me to do it as it can be used to pay my bills. So I can't have many students, is what I'm saying. But as I'm ready to close this thing, because my hands are like, I can't really play and anything, and my voice is already kind of diminished. But to close, I think the good idea to close the stream is to say that if you love that I do, you can subscribe, because apparently subscribing to channel helps with the algorithm, I heard. So it really helps if you would subscribe, and if you like what I do, you want to donate, you can always donate with these links. So despite the fact that Russia is basically cancelled, there are still ways to make donations, and this donation alerts thing is very, very good, in the sense that I received quite a lot of donations, and so far nothing, no troubles at all. Nobody, not a single person complained. And for your donations, I was able to basically buy this guitar, to buy this webcam, to buy these lights, and to do anything. So despite the fact that I have only 20,000 subscribers, my viewers are really, you're great. So my job is to put enough content for you in exchange for your love, views, donations, and anything else. It's how it works. Speaking of talking with Mark, I don't know. You see, Mark and I are this type of guys who live on different planets. Not only I'm in a different country, not only I speak different language, but I'm a kind of a guy. Should I see Mark walking on a street, I'd never ever approach him. So I respect privacy and stuff like that, but I'm open for the world, and of course, should the possibility arise, I will talk to Mark, because who wouldn't? But again, it's not my goal at all, and I think the beauty of my situation is that I'm able to teach his songs to people and enjoy his music, and apart from his personality. So I never had signature instruments. I never had signatures even. I never had nothing from the guy. So I'm not interested in the man in the sense that he's out there somewhere else, and I don't want to bother him with me. It's what I'm saying, and I'm happy just teaching his music. Of course, calling Elvis, I'm going to do it because everybody loves calling Elvis, and it's really hard to play. Yes, Marx mentioning me on... No, it wasn't Mark mentioning me, it was a mentioning of me on his official social media, but of course I can't take this for granted, and it means a lot to me, and it gained me a monthly subscribers in one day and monthly views in one day. So of course it was great, but again, it's not my goal, and it's not something that I work for necessarily, because I do it already for how much? 6 years. I started in 2016. Something in the bulk, more than 5 years. I remember Mark mentioned me in social media almost exactly at the 5 years mark that I work on his music. So it's like a gift, and I know that Mark loves Christmas, and it was Christmas time, and it was a really little gift for me, and of course I can't be thankful enough, and I hope that I already said what I think about awards and stuff like that, and that thing is like some sort of award, and like Mark Knopfler mentioned me on his social media, and you don't necessarily work for awards, and I think my job is to continue doing what I do, whatever happens. So it's not like you get to something and just like, or I'll met Mark or something like that and I can stop working. No, I'll continue working, and I'll continue to do my thing no matter what. So I think it's a good note to end on this stream, and I couldn't believe it went to 3 hours. Thank you for watching, and thank you very much for joining me in this thing, my very first live stream, and it was insane. Thank you.